Hello everyone, this is Grace. It is November the 28th, 2019, and we are continuing our study about the wheels of Ezekiel, and we are in Ezekiel chapter 10. There is one thing I want to correct about the previous study. Not correct, but to expound upon. Ezekiel 1:8, and they had the hands of a man under their wings on their four sides, and they four had their faces in their wings. I read something, and I said, well, maybe the second set of wings, maybe all of the wings could be on the head. That's not correct. I don't know what I was thinking. This verse right here, I forgot. I studied it and then forgot it. But it tells us, and they had the hands of a man under their wings on their sides. So the first set of wings is on the side, and then it says, and they had their faces in their wings. The second set is on the face. So all of them could not be on the face, as I implied that it might have been. Two of them are on the sides, and then two are on the faces. All right, let's go back to Ezekiel chapter 10. I don't think we need to do a summary for this. We'll just read through it. Then I looked, and behold, in the firmament that was above the head of the cherubims, there appeared over them as it were a sapphire stone, as the appearance of the likeness of a throne. Now this is very similar to the last couple of verses of Ezekiel chapter 1, except you still have the throne, the sapphire throne. You have the firmament, you have the sapphire throne. But now, instead of the four creatures, it's a cherubim. And he spake unto the man clothed with linen, and said, Go in between the wheels, even under the cherub, and fill thine hand with coals of fire from between the cherubims, and scatter them over the city. And he went in my sight. Now the cherubim stood on the right side of the house when the man went in, and the cloud filled the inner court. Now keep in mind that this is right after Ezekiel 9, which is the sealing, where Yahweh has now written his name in New Jerusalem on the children of God. So they've now taken his character. Remember, name represents something about that person, a character, their character, or something unique about that person. And he wrote his name on his people, and they represent him. Then the glory of the Lord went up from the cherub and stood over the threshold of the house. Wait, did we miss anything? No. And then the glory of the Lord went up from the cherub and stood over the threshold of the house. And the house was filled with the cloud, and the court was full of the brightness of the Lord's glory. And the sound of the cherubim's wings was heard even to the outer court, as the voice of the Almighty God when he speaketh. And it came to pass that when he had commanded the man clothed with linen, saying, Take fire from between the wheels, from between the cherubims, then he went in and stood beside the wheels. So the wheels are right there between the cherubims. And one cherub stretched forth his hand from between the cherubims into the fire that was between the cherubims, and took thereof, and put it into the hands of him that was clothed with linen, who took it and went out. And there appeared in the cherubims the form of a man's hand under their wings. That's familiar. That should be familiar from Ezekiel chapter 1. The four living creatures had man's hands under their wings, to symbolize that this work is being done by a man, that the works are actually being done and manifested by the works of a man. And when I looked, behold, the four wheels by the cherubims, one wheel by one cherub, and another wheel by another cherub, and the appearance of the wheels was as the color of a beryl stone. And we went over the beryl stone, but this is a little bit different. So we're going to read and see what it says about this one. We went over the beryl stone because it was a wheel within a wheel. Well, first of all, beryl stone is a clear stone. It's a clear stone in its natural state, but it can take on different colors to make it into a ruby, an emerald, anything like that. A lot of different stones, depending upon the minerals or the or what's in it. It can take on other minerals and things like that can change the color. It may not be a ruby. Is it a ruby? I think it's a ruby and an emerald. They're both beryl stones. We'll continue. Ezekiel 10 verse 10. As for their appearance, they four had one likeness, as if a wheel had been in the midst of a wheel. So now, they still take on the color of the beryl stone, but now, instead of a wheel in the middle of a wheel, it's as if a wheel had been in the midst of a wheel. So you see now, the cherubims are separate. You have four cherubims, and you have four wheels. The wheels are separate, not the cherubims. And there's one wheel standing by one cherub. We'll go on. When they went upon their four sides. They turned not as they went, but to the place whither the head looked, they followed it. They turned not as they went. Okay, now who's leading? When they went upon their four sides. That's the wheels. They turned not as they went, but to the place whither the head looked, they followed it. They turned not as they went. Now they are following the faces of the cherubims. Do you see? Now in Ezekiel 9, the people were perfected. They now have the Spirit of God within them. They now are called cherubs instead of, well, it hasn't gotten to the faces yet. Let's read on till we get to that. And their whole body and their backs and their hands and their wings and the wheels were full of eyes round about, even the wheels that the four had. So everything has wisdom now. The whole body, the backs, the hands, the man's works, the wings, the wheels were full of eyes round about, even the wheels that the four had. We've already established that each one has a wheel. We haven't gotten to it yet, but that's what it's talking about. As for the wheels, it was cried unto them in my hearing, O wheel. This is a symbol of judgment. This wheel right here is not really a wheel. It's like a tumbling ball. See the wheels here is 212, H212, and this is 1534. This is like a tumbling ball. This refers you back to Isaiah 22, where there's judgment that's going to be befalling the people, and they're described as a ball tumbling in the wind. It gives the picture of, like, if you have this beach ball sitting on the beach, and the wind comes along and it tosses it and turns it and blows it each kind of way, all kinds of way. So that's a symbol of judgment. So even now, the wheels are crying. Their spirit was crying in Ezekiel 9 for the abominations that were done in the church. And now, even now that they have been perfected, they're still crying for the judgment that's going to come upon the people. They still feel bad for the people, but not for the church anymore, because the church has been cleansed. And everyone had four faces. The first face was the face of the cherub. Now we're talking about the cherubs, and we're going to notice the difference between this cherub, and we're going to compare it to the one in Ezekiel, to the living creature in Ezekiel 1. Everyone had four faces. The first face was the face of a cherub, and the second face was the face of a man, and the third face the face of a lion, and the fourth face the face of an eagle. So now you have four faces on four different cherubs, but they all have the same face. The first one has four faces, the face of a cherub. The second one has four faces, the face of a man. The third one, the lion. The fourth face, the face of an eagle. The ox is just completely gone now. It's been replaced with the perfect cherub. And And all of the faces that were combined before have now become an individual face with an individual wheel sitting beside it. We'll do a quick comparison real quick. Quick comparison. I didn't need that last real quick, but okay. Now, Ezekiel wrote both of these, so it shouldn't be hard to see. As for the likeness of their faces, they four had the face of a man and the face of a lion on the right side. And they four had the face of an ox on the left side. They four also had the face of an eagle. Everyone had four faces. The first face was the face of a cherub, and the second face, the face of a man, and the third face, the face of a lion, and the fourth, the face of an eagle. Four different entities with four different faces. Here, four different entities with all of the same faces of four. Still has four faces, but it's four on one entity. And this one just has one. One face four times. We'll continue. And the cherubims were lifted up. This is the living creature that I saw by the river of Shebar. And when the cherubims went, the wheels went with them. And when the cherubims lifted up their wings to mount up from the earth, the same wheels also turned not from beside them. So, again, it is, as up here, it is the cherubims that's leading now. And when the cherubims went, the wheels went by them. And when the cherubims lifted up their wings to mount up from the earth, the same wheels also turned not from beside them. When they stood, these stood. And when they were lifted up, these lifted up themselves also. For the spirit of the living creature was in them. Then the glory of the Lord departed from off the threshold of the house and stood over the cherubims. And the cherubims lifted up their wings and mounted up from the earth in my sight. When they went out, the wheels also were beside them. And everyone stood at the door of the east gate of the Lord's house. And the glory of the God of Israel was over them above. This is the living creature that I saw under the God of Israel by the river of Shebar. And I knew that they were the cherubims. Everyone had four faces apiece, and every one four wings, and the likeness of the hands of a man was under their wings. And the likeness of their faces was the same faces which I saw by the river of Shebar. Their appearance in themselves, they went every one straight forward. Okay, so let's go back up to the faces. So this, now we saw the man. Hold on a moment. Something has... Okay. So we saw the man, and now here we see the perfected man. Not the man that was created, that came out of the bosom of Yahweh. Here we have the man that has been sealed and perfected in Yahweh. And he has four faces: the face of a cherub. The second face is the face of a man. The third is the lion, the king. And then the fourth is the face of the eagle, the spirit. So we are the man, the king, the priest, the perfected angel. The angel, hold on, let me think about it for a second. One moment. Okay, I remember. Okay. The cherub replaced the ox. Now he has the perfected messenger. That's what it was. So now he has the angel who is still doing the work of Yahweh, but he's no longer an ox that is yoked to to Christ. He's now been perfected. Okay, I'm glad they came back. But okay, so we're at 15. No, you know what? We're going to stop here. And then we will take a look. Yeah. I think I'm going to go to Revelation 4 next, and we'll take a look at that. If you have any questions, leave them below. Yahweh bless.